Welcome back to No Filter Dose. Tonight's caller is a mother of three who says Kevin's content made her a better parent. She agrees on weight and discipline, but pushes back on surgery and domestic abuse claims. Kevin shuts it down and brings it back to accountability, proof, and discipline. Watch it all the way through, hit like, subscribe, and make sure you show support to Kevin's original channel because we've got to keep his legacy alive.
Hold on. Hello?
Hi, Mr. Samuels. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. I appreciate you having me up here.
What do you got for me?
So I am a mother of three sons, and your content, like I told Dr. Johnson, has made me a better parent. The question that I have for you, though, is what happened to the time frame when our young adults had to think about their place and who they were in the world? Like, I'm one of three girls, and at one point I was like, I don't think that I'm the attractive sister, so how do I move forward accordingly? When did our kids stop doing that?
When did our kids stop? Make it a little bit more simple for me. When did our kids stop?
Assessing themselves in life, like, I'm 18, I'm a 5. The things that you ask. When
we start giving 8th place trophies and participation awards and social probation. When we took competition out of schools.
So like the 80s?
Not in the 80s, closer to the mid 90s. When we started going to this social promotion, participation trophy, everybody's equal, everybody get the shot. Competition is a way to gauge yourself, where you rank. When you were in elementary, did you participate in the spelling bee?
I did.
Did you ever win one?
No.
And neither did I. And did you want to?
Of course.
So did I. And the closest I ever got was probably like to the top, to the top 20% or something like that. Never got in the top 10. I was always gone. I was better. I went past the midway. But you know what that made me realize? You're not that great of a speller, Kevin.
Very true. Okay. So I wasn't in the beginning, so I didn't get to say the two things that I question about what you say, if you don't mind. Right. You talk about the weight of women, and I agree with you. I used to be 330 pounds 15 years ago. And you are, to me, a bit dismissive about the reality of women being assaulted or abused inside of their marriages, because it's not like they can talk about it as freely as your platform.
Let's talk about one thing. Let's talk about one thing. You went from weight to assault. Pick. Okay. I can't do it. Which one is what?
I guess it's probably easier to talk about getting women to change their weight. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. You pick which one, but you just did two things and I can't address.
Okay. The weight loss. I agree with you that our women need to be healthier because we are the foundational health of our community. But you are dismissive of forms of being able to lose the weight, like weight loss surgery or whatever, because you imply that there's no discipline in doing that.
There is none. There's none.
There is.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, yes, sir. Sorry.
There is no discipline in going to get a weight loss surgery. It's a surgical procedure. What is the relapse rate or the fail rate of women who? Let's go look it up. Let's go. What is the rate of people? What is the rate of people who end up back overweight after bariatric surgeries or things like that?
I no longer know offhand, to be honest. I can say that I did it in 2007, but I'm not.
Okay, but my point is, it is bad enough to where people have to go in and get additional procedures. Why? Because healthy living is a lifestyle. The choices are made every single minute. Less sugar, less salt, less fat, more water, plant-based diet, exercise, cardiovascular, discipline. Going to get nipped and tucked jump starts the process, but if you don't have the discipline to change your diet, you're going to end up back in a similar position and or worse.
Okay. And that was the thing that I needed to hear that I hadn't heard you say before, because I agree with you that the surgery is simply a catalyst, it's a jumpstart, but you have to have discipline. And now our community lacks discipline. I agree. I
But
say that.
I'm not a fan of surgery in the first place. Man, I'm a cancer survivor. We have too many people undergoing elective surgery for something surgery should be a last resort. You're not guaranteed to come out. But today, people are so, in my opinion, personal opinion, lazy that they will use surgery as a first option instead of changing their diet and doing the work. Let's be honest. You don't go to bed after a big meal and go from 125 pounds to 300. It's a process.
You have to give up on yourself first.
Well,
that's the honest truth.
But you have to watch it. You see it happen. My point is, it doesn't just happen. So I'm not dismissive. I'm just not going to sit back and act as though women outweighing men is not a problem. You go back in your family album and you look at your grandmother and the women before then. That's what you're supposed to be built like.
I agree with you.
We can't argue. We can't argue with that. There's no European standard of beauty or none of that stuff. So, and what's the next part about the abuse?
It feels to me that it's a bit dismissive to be like to say that it's not happening to women or that women aren't being abused inside of their marriages and aren't able to leave immediately.
Who said that? Who said that?
It's not that you just said that. It's just that you did not. You say go to therapy, or you say, yeah, okay, there's a place for it.
No, ma'am. Hold on. No, you're missing. No. You're convoluting things, conflating things. When women tend to talk about abuse, one of the first things I ask, why'd you end up getting a divorce or leaving your relationship? They say for domestic violence, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I ask, were there police reports filed? What tends to be the answer?
No, but there's a reason for that.
Hold on. I don't care what the reason is. And I'll tell you why I don't care what the reason is. This is the men's platform. And I am advocating for men because far too often women can simply say domestic violence with no proof, and men pay the consequence. The reasons be damned. If it's big enough for you to walk out of your marriage, you should have slid by the police station to at least put it in the court record. Now, what you ladies want to try to seem as though everything is just such a critical situation where a woman needs to leave and she needs to have all these protections and she's having to do all this stuff in the middle of the night, and that is not the norm. That's not it happens, but it's not the overwhelming percentage. And what also happens when I tend to ask about domestic violence, I ask, did you return fire? What do most women say? Yes. And then I ask about, what about you and emotional and verbal abuse? Yes. Where are the police reports? Men can't file those things. So my question is to you, why is it that men should just accept what a woman says without proof?
I don't think that they should. I just did an entire video on how we should do a better job of being loyal to our men and the situations that are going on in the court system today. While I may I feel a certain way about what's happening or what R. Kelly and Bill Cosby may have done. They're still our men, and until the court,
but my
we have
point,
to give them.
So
we
when
have
you
to
say,
see
but you're talking out of, okay, so I'm not clear because you said that I'm dismissive, and then you're saying that I don't understand.
I chose the wrong word. I think I should have said flippant. It just seems as though it's only a beat instead of it's a pause in a thing that should be longer. The conversation should be longer. Is what I'm saying.
I'm saying that when I hear women say that they left their marriage or relationship because of DV and there's no paperwork, I'm skeptical.
Okay. I can
I'm
accept that.
I'm skeptical based upon too much case law and too much evidence. All right.
Okay. Thank you. We're in agreement. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye bye.
The call ends here, so let's break down what happened. The caller is a mother of 3 sons who says Kevin's content helped her become a better parent. She starts calm, asking what happened to competition and self-assessment in young adults. Kevin says it shifted in the mid-90s with participation trophies and social promotion. They bond over both losing spelling bees and realizing where they ranked. She admits she used to weigh 330 pounds and agrees women need to be healthier, but says Kevin sounds dismissive about weight loss surgery and abuse in marriages. Kevin makes her choose one topic. They go into surgery. He presses her on relapse rates and says surgery without discipline doesn't fix the lifestyle. She agrees it's a catalyst, but not a cure. When they circle back to domestic violence, Kevin says when women say they left for DV but filed no police reports, he's skeptical. She says there are reasons women don't report. He cuts in and says reasons don't matter if a man's reputation and freedom are on the line. He repeats that if it was serious enough to leave, it was serious enough to document. She eventually says she used the wrong word and accepts his stance. The call ended with Kevin saying men shouldn't just accept accusations at face value and that if it's real, there needs to be something on record. What this call really exposes is how some women want fairness without pressure. They agree with discipline when it sounds good, but when it hits close to home, the language shifts. Suddenly, there are circumstances, explanations, emotional context. Nothing completely false, just enough added to ease the weight of responsibility. You see how the standard stays solid until it applies personally. Health matters, discipline matters, proof matters. But once it becomes about their choices, there is always a qualifier, a reason it is different this time, a reason it should be understood differently. It is not rebellion against the rule, it is reshaping the rule so their ego stays intact. Some women do this without even realizing it. They want structure in society, but flexibility for themselves. They want men to operate on strict codes while they move on feelings and situational logic. When that flexibility is denied, it feels cold. Fellas, discipline is not optional. It's the backbone. Your body, your money, your mindset, all of it moves off that. If you don't control yourself, life will control you. And once you tighten up your habits, you start noticing who around you moves with structure and who just talks a good game. When you're picking a long-term woman, make sure she's disciplined too. Watch if she holds herself accountable without being forced. Discipline keeps a household stable. Without it, everything turns chaotic real quick. Ladies, it is important to be disciplined, even when it doesn't feel good. If you want a solid, structured man, you have to move solid and structured too. Chaos and long-term peace do not mix. And on the domestic violence side, we know it can be hard. A lot of times women do not file a report because they want to stay with the man, but never stay with the violent man. If it happens, file the police report. That shows you are serious and not to be played with. And if you ever need proof later, you will have it on record instead of just your word. If you made it this far, salute to you. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button, subscribe, and never forget to show love to Kevin's original channel. We keep the clips alive, but the legacy stays over there.